Some places defy science, logic, and even belief. From cities floating on water to caves that burn forever. These locations shouldn't exist, yet they do. Stick around because what's coming next will blow your mind. Number 10. Eternal Flame Falls, USA. A waterfall, with fire burning inside it? This sounds like something out of fantasy, but deep in Chestnut Ridge Park, New York, a mystical orange flame flickers within a cascading waterfall, burning against all odds. But how? Scientists discovered that natural gas seeps through cracks beneath the falls, fueling the eternal blaze. But here's the twist. Other places with similar gas emissions don't have this effect. The specific chemical makeup of the gas at Eternal Flame Falls remains a scientific anomaly. But there's something even stranger. On rare occasions, the flame goes out, yet hikers claim that just a small spark mysteriously reignites it, almost as if the fire refuses to die. But if that amazed you, wait until you hear about a lake so deadly that it turns living creatures into statues. Number 9. Lake Natron, Tanzania. Imagine stumbling upon a lake so eerie, so lifeless that it looks like a graveyard of stone creatures. Lake Natron in Tanzania literally petrifies animals, their bodies frozen in time like eerie sculptures. But how? The lake's water is a deadly mix of sodium carbonate and hydrogen carbonate, making it so caustic that it burns the flesh off living creatures upon contact. The temperatures soar up to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, 60 degrees Celsius, and the pH level is almost as high as ammonia. But here's where it gets terrifying. Birds often misjudge the lake's surface, thinking it's a reflection of the sky, and when they land, they never escape. Their bodies remain perfectly preserved, as if they turned to stone in an instant. And yet, despite this death trap, some fish and birds thrive in these waters. How do they survive in a lake that shouldn't support life at all? Scientists have theories, but no clear answer. But now let's move to a real-life Atlantis, an entire city that floats on water. Number 8. The floating city of Ganvié, Benin. No roads, no cars, no land beneath your feet. Just endless water, with a fully functioning city floating above it. Welcome to Ganvié, Benin's Venice of Africa. Over 20,000 people live here, entirely surrounded by water. But what's truly mind-blowing is how this city was never meant to exist. Centuries ago, the Tofanu people were escaping from brutal slave traders and built an entire floating civilization to survive. But here's the real mystery. Even after hundreds of years, this city has never sunk, never been abandoned, and continues to grow. The houses, schools, markets, and even a floating hospital all exist on wooden stilts. But how do they get fresh drinking water? Where do they grow food? The residents have developed a unique, self-sustaining way of life that science still struggles to fully explain. But if that's shocking, wait till you hear about a cave so bizarre, it defies the laws of chemistry. Number 7. The Moval Cave, Romania. Imagine a sealed-off world, untouched by sunlight for 5.5 million years. Yet somehow, it's thriving with life. Deep in Romania, the Moval Cave is a place so toxic to humans that just stepping inside without equipment could suffocate you. The air inside is deadly, with 90% less oxygen than normal and dangerously high levels of carbon dioxide and hydrogen sulfide. Any human breathing it would collapse within minutes. And yet, dozens of strange creatures not only survive but thrive in this bizarre ecosystem. Blind spiders, translucent scorpions, and a completely unique ecosystem that exists nowhere else on Earth. Scientists are baffled. How did life evolve in complete darkness without sunlight, oxygen, or external resources? Some experts even suggest that this cave might hold the secrets to alien life forms on other planets. And if you think that's strange, get ready, because next up is a river that boils anything that enters it. Number 6. The boiling river of the Amazon, Peru. A river so hot, it can literally cook animals alive. Yet it shouldn't even exist. Deep in the Amazon rainforest, the Sinai-Tempishka River maintains a scorching temperature of nearly 200 degrees Fahrenheit, or 93 degrees Celsius. Here's what's crazy. There's no volcanic activity nearby. Normally, rivers this hot are heated by magma deep underground. But in this case, scientists have no definitive explanation for the extreme heat levels. And it gets even more bizarre. Locals believe the river has spiritual powers, and shamans have used its waters for healing rituals for centuries. Some geologists think that heat is being trapped beneath the Earth's crust and released through fractures. But if that's true, why is this the only river like it on the planet? The mystery remains unsolved. And trust me, what's coming next is even more unbelievable. Number 5. The Door to Hell, Turkmenistan. A giant fiery crater in the middle of the desert, burning endlessly for over 50 years. If there's ever a place that looks like a portal to another world, this is it. Known as the Door to Hell, this massive pit of fire in Turkmenistan was never meant to exist. Back in 1971, Soviet scientists were drilling for oil when the ground suddenly collapsed, revealing a mysterious, gas-filled cavern beneath. Worried about deadly methane leaks, they set it on fire, thinking it would burn out in a few days. But 5 decades later, it's still raging like an inferno. But here's what's even creepier. Scientists recently discovered strange bacteria inside the crater, thriving in extreme heat, raising the possibility that similar life forms could exist on Mars. And if you think that's crazy, wait till you hear about a lake so bizarre, it turns everything pink. Number 4. Lake Hillier, Australia. A bubblegum pink lake in the middle of an island? This isn't Photoshop, it's 100% real. Lake Hillier in Australia is a natural body of water with a stunning, neon pink color that looks like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. But the weirdest part? Scientists still don't fully understand why it's pink. Some believe it's caused by microalgae producing red pigments, while others think it's due to extremely high salt levels interacting with specific bacteria. But here's what's truly bizarre. Even if you scoop the water into a glass, it stays pink. And unlike toxic lakes, Lake Hillier is completely safe to swim in, though drinking it would be a terrible idea because it's saltier than the Dead Sea. But this next place is even more mind-blowing. It's an entire island that moves on its own. Number 3. The floating island of Loktak, India. An island that moves on its own? Sounds like something from a pirate legend, but it's 100% real. Located in India's Loktak Lake, these floating islands, called phumdis, are made of vegetation, soil, and organic matter that somehow stay afloat. The largest one is even home to a whole national park. But here's where it gets spine-chilling. These islands aren't anchored. They shift locations every few years, almost as if they're alive. Scientists can't fully explain why they don't sink, and despite constant movement, wildlife thrives here, including rare deer that live nowhere else on Earth. But hold on, because the next one is an actual river of blood that no one can explain. Number 2. The Blood Falls, Antarctica. A frozen waterfall in Antarctica. That leaks blood? If this sounds like something out of a horror movie, you're not alone. For decades, scientists were baffled by a blood-red waterfall gushing out of pure white ice. Some thought it was an ancient curse or a sign of underground life forms. The reality, even stranger. Deep beneath the glacier, there's a hidden, iron-rich lake trapped for millions of years. The moment this oxygen-free water meets the air, it rusts instantly, turning blood red. But here's what's truly shocking. Scientists believe this ancient, untouched ecosystem might contain microbes that could survive on other planets. And if that's not insane enough, wait until you hear about a place on Earth where gravity simply stops. Number 1. The Mystery Spot, USA. A place where the laws of physics don't apply? Welcome to the Mystery Spot in California, where gravity seems to vanish into thin air. Visitors report feeling dizzy, objects rolling uphill instead of down, and people appearing to shrink or grow right before their eyes. Scientists have tested the land, the magnetic fields, and even underground structures. Yet there's no definitive explanation for why physics behaves so bizarrely here. Some believe it's due to gravitational anomalies, underground magnetic forces, or even some kind of optical illusion. But here's the real twist. Similar spots exist all over the world. From Oregon's Vortex House to Japan's Gravity Hills, these places completely break reality. But the biggest question remains, are these just illusions, or is something much bigger at play? Did any of these places blow your mind? Let us know in the comments which one shocked you the most. And if you love discovering the most bizarre, unexplained mysteries of our world, hit that subscribe button right now. Because trust me, there's way more where this came from.